all of us were coming in buses, and I was in a bus which had all the Olympic gold medalists. It had Balbir Singh, 3-time Olympic gold medalist. It had Leander Paes. It had Mahesh Bhupathi. It had Karnam Malleshwari, P.T. Usha. So all the big names who ran the last leg of the relay were in my bus, and we were all talking about the security arrangements as we drove down from Rashtrapati Bhavan. We could see on either side absolutely empty lawns of Rajpath, and we were all talking about it, but that didn't bother anyone, because at the end of the day we all knew that even though it's going to be for a brief while, it's all for a brief moment, all of us are going to be part of that Olympic spirit which we all hear about. But to be actually part of that Olympic spirit is something which I can't describe to you right now.
All right, tell us, Digvijay, there was a sort of torch malfunction or something like it a short while ago, a brief interruption perhaps, or a halt on Rajpath. Was it anything at all to do with an interruption of this torch relay, or was it just an unscheduled halt? Pardon me.
Well, it was an unscheduled halt, but nothing to do with protests. I'll tell you how the torch relay actually happened, because we were all standing from the beginning, from the first person to receive the torch, Mr. Suresh Kalmadi, who ran, down to Leander and Mahesh, who were the end, who were numbers 67 and 68. And all of us were standing at a distance of some 20 meters from each other. We all travelled in separate buses, and which then, after we finished our run, picked us up. So as the person before me came to hand over the torch, an official from the Chinese torch committee came and unscrewed a lever which allowed the gas inside the torch to actually start, and from then on I carried it, and then the same thing happened with the next athlete. So a bit of a problem while getting that torch ready, nothing untoward.
Right, Digvijay Singh, you were speaking to a few sportspersons before the commencement of this Olympic torch relay. They did say that it will really sink in perhaps a couple of days after that happens, but I could see you looking very, very happy indeed, taking the names of the likes of Muhammad Ali and Kathy Freeman. So it must be a personal moment of triumph for you as well.
Yes, Venkatesh, a personal high, because of all the people who were there in that torch relay with me, many of them are actually people who actually seen the Olympic torch across all Olympics, and who actually carried the Olympic torch in the last time it came to India. But for a person like me who only knows Olympic sports from outside, who covers, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and I was completely, I was just hoping that somehow I don't do anything wrong, don't drop the torch, and just go out there and run and be proud of being a torch bearer.
Indeed, don't drop the torch. You were given good advice before the event actually began. Digvijay Singh Dio, you did mention, of course, that in the bus that you were travelling in, much of the conversation was dominated by the fact that there were hardly any public to cheer the athletes on. Was it just that? Was there anything else, any other feeling or any emotion in that bus?
Well, not exactly. The talk basically was about who's going to run which leg, and who's going to precede the torch. And there were also a lot of questions as to how to light the torch, because we were all handed the torch as we were getting off the bus, and every torch bearer was handed a different torch. So we were all a bit curious as to how this torch would operate, would the gas leak and all that stuff. And I was sitting at the back of the bus, and beside me was Mahesh Bhupathi and Leander Paes, and also there were Gurbachan Singh Randhawa and Amir Khan. And we were all talking about how the security arrangements were in place, because as we were passing down Rajpath, we could see on both sides the heavy security presence. As we were passing by roads, we could see barricades being put up, 3-layer barricades followed by 2 buses put together at the very deep end. So we realized that the Home Ministry and all the security agencies will not take anything for granted. They had completely sealed off this route, and thankfully for them, there's been no untoward incident.
Indeed, Digvijay, I wonder if you can get to keep the torch, or will you get to keep a replica of the torch at least?
Well, that's the first question I asked as soon as I finished my run, but and the answer was that the torch would be handed back to the Chinese Olympic Committee, who would pass it on to the Indian Olympic Association, who would then pass it on to me. So yes, I am looking forward to having that torch, and I'll have it framed up in my living room.
All right, and we can see, of course, that you will keep that all the other goodies that you got. Digvijay Singh Dio of CNN IBN. Indeed, it must be an honor for you, but give us a sense really of what's happening right now.
Well, at the moment, the torch relay has finished, and we're just in front of India Gate, facing the National Stadium. In fact, Leander and Mahesh were the last 2 runners, and they're on stage right now after lighting the cauldron. And right now, there's a small ceremony going on in which Mr. Suresh Kalmadi and the other dignitaries, I can see Milkha Singh is there, Gurbachan Singh Randhawa, fifth in the Tokyo Olympics in the 110-meter hurdles. He's on stage. So are Leander Mahesh. So is P.T. Usha. So is a lot of other really big sportsmen, icons of Olympic sports in India. They're on stage, and the Thanksgiving ceremony is going on.
Thanksgiving ceremony goes on. Digvijay, we understand this torch will not stay in India tonight. It will leave for Bangkok and then on towards Kuala Lumpur and so on.
Yes, Venkatesh. As of now, like last night, the details of the torch arrival and wasting have been really kept. It's a closely guarded secret because it even saw later when the media channels flashed the fact that the torch would be staying at the Meridian. There was attempts to try to breach the Meridian to protest. So clearly nobody's taking any chances, and we're even hearing that from here the torch may go to another location. There's a lot of backup plans in case something or the other happens. So no information as of now from the Olympic Association or from the organizers as to where the torch would be placed after this relay.
All right. Digvijay Singh, do stay with us. We also have with us, of course, Arunodhay Mukherjee. And the torch relay has happened. I will also be handing over the baton to my colleague Smita Nair, who will take over from me right now. So Smita Nair, as you can see, a moment of triumph for CNN IBN's Digvijay Singh Deo.
Absolutely, Venkatesh. In fact, I've been dying to speak to Digvijay Singh since Digvijay, if you can hear me, we wish we could cheer from the sidelines at Rajpath, but sadly because of the security rings around the torchbearers, we couldn't do that. But let me assure you, all of us in the newsroom here were cheering on when you were holding your hand aloft there in triumph, when you made that short and truncated run. Was that a disappointment, Digvijay, among other torchbearers as well, that it was a truncated 2.3-kilometer run? We tried to work the arithmetic out. It came to about 25 meters. Some disappointment there?
Well, yes, some disappointment there. Everyone was talking about the fact that how last time they ran a longer run. The last time the torch relay actually started at the Qutub Minar and finished at the National Stadium, going all across town, across Red Fort, at a distance around 25 kilometers. And this time, originally it was planned to be 9 kilometers. But end of the day, with the security agency stepping in, with kind of protests happening all across the world, nobody wanted to take any chances. And for the sportsmen who are out here, they knew it was a truncated relay. But the fact is that the Olympic torch is something all these persons aspire for. For a person like me, Smita, who actually covers Olympic sports, it's a huge thing, and it's even more for them because that is what motivates them. They don't get that much of fame in this country, but as Olympians, the respect which many of these sportsmen get as Olympians, that feeling is a different thing. When you go and meet a few of these ex-Olympians, when you ask them for their visiting cards with us, on it will be written so and so Olympian. So that's the immense amount of pride in these people, and there's nothing bigger for them than carrying the Olympic torch.
That you've been rather articulate. I would have been searching for words, Digvijay, if I were to have run that short lap with the Olympic torch in my hand. Let me assure you, we're getting a t-shirt made for you, Digvijay, that reads, "I ran with the Olympic torch in my hand." But that aside, Digvijay, there have been many sub-stories to this Olympic torch relay as well. We saw Sagarika Ghadge, the lady who was part of Chak De India, the big blockbuster of last year made on women's hockey. Coincidentally, the women's hockey team is also playing to try and get into the Olympics there. That's been a sub-story as well.
Yes, it has been, and this was a question asked to Mr. Kalmadi yesterday as to why didn't you have anyone from the women's hockey team, and his answer was that they're trying to qualify for the Olympics, and Sagarika Ghadge is actually a nominee of the sponsor, but she was on my bus, Smita, and she was sitting right behind me, and we were having a chat about women's hockey, and also next to us, after we finished the run, was Mr.